talking Walking Comics. We were doing The Walking Dead issue number 45. Right?
Yes.
Can't
yes,
go any lower than one issue.
Yeah. We're going to cover the odd pages this show. We'll come back to the evens the next. We are running out of options here.
Yeah. Okay, so focus. Let's stay focused.
Laser-like focus is what we're going to have going.
That's not our show. Laser-like focus is not our show.
There's no such thing as a shotgun laser either. So there's no like degree away from either laser-like focused or completely unfocused.
Or a mess, yeah.
We're somewhere in between. We have laser-esque tendencies. How about that?
Laseresque chaos.
There you go. Ooh, that's a great band name right there. That's good.
Okay, like it. Okay. So cover for 45 is Rick, and he's green and sick.
Yes, my notes reflect bloody sick Rick.
Yeah.
One of the least fearsome pirates of the high seas, but yeah, he is not looking good.
So 44, governor attacked, and we have some casualties.
Yes, we do. We've got Gene's favorite body model, Axel, with the bicep of the bullet went all the way straight through the bicep. So
yep.
It's a clean wound, but he's got a bicep shot.
Yep, Andrea got nicked in the back of the head, and while her skull is not cracked, she's got a nice little groove running along there, according to Dale.
Probably help keep Dale's hat on in future episodes. Nice little friction point. And Rick's in a bad way, and he needs a transfusion.
Yes, he does. And of all the people who can give him a transfusion, it's Patricia.
Yes, ironically, the person least compatible intellectually with the group is the person most compatible from a blood type, because she's type O negative, which apparently means, now he could be totally making this up. I don't know. I'm assuming this is based.
It's a universal donor. It's correct.
O negative's universal donor.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I have no idea what type of blood I have outside of red. I probably should.
Yeah, mine's red too, so you know. Hey.
Okay, there you go. So
we have something in common.
There you go. Universal donors right there. Piece of cake.
Yeah. And so they don't actually go too much into that. They got it skips right over to Michonne and Tyrese, who are basically gonna go a little retribution.
Somehow the Michonne's theory is they won't expect us to come after them. There's no better time, and this is when we can really tip the scales here. We're on things have gone pretty well for us, relatively speaking. We can kind of nip this in the bud, if you will.
Yeah. So she and Tyrese get into more riot gear because we all love the riot gear, and they go running off. And Dale makes a decision.
Dale the discontent, who has kind of for quite some time now, we ought to leave, Rick's a bad guy, decision maker, blah, blah, blah. He said,
all of it true.
Well, it is, a lot of it's true. And I do, so I side with his decision to say the smart money here is if they want this frickin' place, take it. Because it's not worth the potential risk. The risk-reward balance thing, fine, take it. We're getting out of here. But when some of the people won't go or can't go, like Rick in this case, can't go because he's in transfusion land, I'm not real impressed with the guy. Well, we're still going to go. He'll be fine.
Yeah, it seems more like abandonment than like a strategic sort of, I don't know. Yeah.
Not for the greater good.
No.
But,
so he basically tells Lori, of all the people to have the discussion with,
yes,
he tells Lori, who is always so reasonable and even-minded, that he's going to take that he's taken Andrea and the twins and Sophie and basically, if she wants to stop him, she's going to have to shoot him.
Which she probably should have just taken him up on. It would have been kind of a nice, okay, boom. but she doesn't. And it's Lori, so it's a possibility.
It is, yeah. She's not the most stable individual.
Right.
Not the most calm person I've ever seen. So yeah. And once they get outside and they're outside the RV and stuff, Glenn and Maggie decide to join the caravan leaving.
Another not cool move because they've got to know, again, this is every person that gets in the caravan of leave is not there to help Rick out should the governor return. And,
right.
But they do, and I was actually surprised by that I figured that they would stay, but
right.
So that leaves prison lineup of Andrea, Dale, Axel, Herschel, Billy, the universal donor, Patricia. Maybe that'll come in handy. Lori, Carl, Rick, Judith, and Alice.
Right.
Not because at this point, well, Rick's still out, so he doesn't know. Well, we'll explain what he finds out here shortly. But
yeah,
that's not your best lineup to take on the governor. Because the one serviceable person out of there, I guess Billy's kind of a good shot, so that's something, but he's not super trustworthy. Axel's down to one arm.
Yeah.
So, not good.
Bleak. It's bleak. Yeah.
Not looking good for the kids. No.
No, it's not. So Axel, Herschel, and Billy decide that they're going to put cars up against the fence and then stick grenades under the tires of the cars.
Yeah. Seemed kind of sort of reasonable. Herschel drops an F-bomb as Maggie leaves.
I know, that was impressive.
It was
because he went all Bible-y for a while there, and you're not allowed to say hell because it's a lake of fire and whatnot. So that was sort of funny. He does apologize very quickly.
Yeah, sorry for that, but and kind of at that point goes, well, I think this may be the last time that I see Maggie, or I feel like it's the last time I'm going to see Maggie. So
right.
So I can use bad words, I guess. That's the thing.
So do as I say, not as I do.
And as they set up, my favorite line of this entire issue, because Herschel's explaining to Axel that God is on their side.
Oh God, yeah, okay, yeah, I took notes on that.
And Axel responds, "I hope God brings more grenades."
And Billy's like, "We're outnumbered." Herschel's like, "Well, we have God on our side." Axel's like, "Well, I hope God brings more grenades."
Pragmatic. Not a looker, but a pragmatic man.
Yeah, that was good. I took notes on that too. And Michonne and Tyrese end up catching up with the governor at a very opportune moment, apparently, before he gets back to Woodbury. Yes,
and once again, we're treated to...
your favorite thing?
I'd like to rephrase that. I'm gonna say no. I've never really said, oh, this is... I have pointed out that this is a theme. I don't think I pointed it out saying, oh, I'm so glad this is...
No, it's your favorite thing in the same vein as Andrea and her prison jort making is my favorite thing.
All right. Ironically, yes. But there's one of the Woodbury crew is relieving himself when...
complete with sound effects.
Yes. Yes.
Patter putter.
Yeah, so he might need to get that checked out. There may be some problems there. But, so then there's a little bit of Michonne being Michonne and some things going on. There's a big fight, but...
Yeah, she slices his head at an angle, just takes the top right off.
And there's a couple of them taking out, and then we kind of leave, and we're back to the back and forth bounce. So the fight's going on.
Confusing. The fight was a little confusing. It was a little hard to kind of tell what was happening there.
Right. I mean, beyond the one Michonne decapitation, that was clear. I said, okay, point Michonne. There you go. Pretty clear on that one. But everything else, it's you can't tell who's got the edge, how things are going. But then they jump back and we're regaled. Again, another one of your favorite moments. Let's hear a little more backstory about Rick from Lori. And Lori's opining with Carl about Jeff, Rick's brother, and how his brother had I think a limp, and kids made fun of him, and his dad picked fights with the kids even though he knew he'd lose, and blah blah blah.
Yeah. I was gonna say blah 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 blah.
Just all these painful Lori stories.
She's not a good storyteller either.
No, not even close.
This fell right in line with like her scrapbooking hobby discussion, I think. If I got that right.
Yeah, the scrapbooking, and then of course the riveting recounting of her first date with Rick.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, how she met Rick was so very interesting that it had to go on for I don't know how many frames and pages.
They give her a lot of monologue time.
They do, and none of it's important.
I just wonder if they go, we're short 2 pages. Have Lori tell a story. Just blah, blah, blah.
I know. I want to hear like strategery or something, or not Lori's horrible recounts of boring past life details. Pre-apocalyptic Snoreville.
And ironically, as all of us are falling to sleep, listening to Lori's story, Rick wakes up. so
Poor guy. Yeah. So yeah, if you can say anything for him, at least he cut off the whole rest of that story.
Like, shut up! The story's I'm sick.
And so she tells him that basically everybody's gone. That Glenn and Maggie went with Andrea and Dale and the twins and Sophia, and then Michonne and Tyrese went rogue.
Yeah, that was kind of a unfortunate couple of panels for Rick, because it was like he gets up, okay, I'm walking around trying to get collected. Oh, they got grenades behind that's a good plan. I can't throw them, and he goes, well, get Glenn and we'll do this. And I'm like, well, that's not here, oh crap, okay. Well, Michonne and Tyrese, well, they're not to.
You're all alone.
Yeah, at least the governor's right here. Well, he's right behind you. Just about. But that part didn't happen.
Yeah. So and then it cuts back over to what happened with the governor, and Tyrese has been captured.
Yes, captured by Gabe.
I know.
A kind of a doughy guy, not with no body armor, and they also have Michonne's sword.
Yeah.
But they have Tyrese and Michonne's sword, and the governor, of course, is quite interested because he's got some conversation he'd like to have with her. And Gabe says that he blew her effing brains out. So, and that kind of wraps up this issue.
It does.
So Gabe, is, I guess, as they did the television show, I think Merle picked up pieces of Gabe. I think there was, parts of the role that Gabe played in terms of being right-hand man and all that, including he also lies to the governor about, I killed Michonne. And so both of them have given their respective governors bad intel in terms of that.
Yeah, payback perhaps for getting punched in the face for no good reason.
Yeah, I killed him. Jerk.
Oh, yeah?
So I'm trying to think, and it's interesting because this, we talked about in this part of the story, there's a couple notes that are very close, but there's a ton of notes and a ton of things go on in this space that are much different.
Right. Because
a lot of this scenario isn't present in the television show, because there is a Woodbury attack that doesn't go well, and a retreat, circumstances a little differently, but then the governor in the television show kind of wipes everybody out, his crew. So it's a little different, and we'll be very likely coming back soon to some more very interesting scenes coming up.
Yeah, because in the show, the governor sort of goes off and does his own thing and meets people and catches up with Martinez.
Yes.
And has a whole sort of odd little storyline. Then takes that new group and makes war on the prison, not his original sort of Woodbury crew. So it's a pretty big sort of fork in the story, kind of how that goes out and comes back, and it was. I honestly didn't expect it when we were watching it because like when he started wandering off and they were like camping and stuff, which was kind of awesome because they left him, the people that he was initially with, and they were camping, just sort of left him there because he was sort of zoning out and not paying attention or being useful, and so they abandoned him out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, because he was worthless. There was a walker approaching him one time, and he just kind of sat and stared at the fire, and so
pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fire was the new heads of tank, I think.
Yeah. Probably easier to care for, I would think. I don't know. Does one clean a head tank? Yeah, I'm assuming at some point you want to scrub the sides down or something like that, but then you got to take the head out and put it in a different bucket of water. Seems like it'd be a lot of work. So.
Yeah.
Not that I've thought about it a lot.
I was gonna say.
So I don't think I could pull a head tank off here. I've got an available 55-gallon tank. That'll hold 4 heads, 5 heads, easy. So maybe.
One of these days, we're gonna have a podcast, and there's gonna be a tank behind you, and I'm gonna be concerned.
Oh, don't mind that. No, I'll be fine. So this is good.
Yep.
I didn't say the E word. I'm so proud of
myself. Look at you go!
So proud. It should be like a special starred episode or something like that.
I can do that.
That would be very cool.
All right. Anything else you want to talk about? Difference between the show and the comic? Before we go?
I mean, it's tough here because this particular series of events, there's no real strong parallel, and I think as we get into the next couple of issues of the comic, there'll be all some really good times to kind of compare some things through there. But I guess my question to you is Tyronne, Tyrese and Michonne Tyronne. That's their couple name.
Oh, gross.
I don't know.
That's funny. I like it.
Tyrese and Michonne heading out.
Mm-hmm.
You for it or against it? Would you?
For me, I think it was a tad bit impulsive, and I don't think it was the smartest thing to do. I mean, clearly, but
yeah, it's a little easy now.
Hindsight's 20/20. Yeah, I didn't like the idea of it, especially because Rick is out, and he seems to be the only one with any sort of capability for actual fighting. And yeah, just not. I think she was probably somewhat overwhelmed and sort of taken by the fact that the governor was still alive. I mean, she left him kind of a pile of goo, and I think to some degree expecting him to die. Yeah. Maybe not immediately, but at least not be functional enough to bring an onslaught type attack to the prison. That's for sure.
No, given the activities and events that occurred with those two together last time, him being up and about, it's got to be a little bit of a surprise. Alive and all is a surprise, but mobile even.
Right.
So right. That's probably driving some of her wanting to go there.
Right.
I guess I could have. I don't support how they did it in circumstances. I don't believe the way the story played out that they had awareness that Dale was peeling Maggie and Glenn off Team Rick,
right?
And so because that leaves just at the prison such a decimated force,
right?
And given what's going on, you just really put that group a lot more at risk because now you've taken 4 of the best fighters off the table should they come back. So
yeah, and the only thing that I could think of with Maggie and Glenn was that now that they've made a decision to have a baby, that that was sort of the driving force behind leaving, because I didn't really agree with them leaving either. I didn't think it made all that much sense, to be quite frank, unless they felt like Dale and Andrea needed some protection or help. It was odd, I thought.
Yeah, it did seem that them, they wanted to get on with their lives, I guess, the baby and all that.
Want to have a baby.
But on the road in the zombie apocalypse, I don't know if that's a great idea, but
this was like the conduit for Andrea's bad decisions, since we don't get to see that happening as much in the comic as we did in the TV show. This was like that, down that same path. Just
they spread it over to other characters.
Yeah.
Where they centralized it all in the character on the television show. But great.
Yeah.
Well,
so
I am looking forward to next week, where I will only prepare for 1 issue. And so I'm trainable. I think we may have found, but we're out of options. If this didn't work, we were kind of screwed. It's like, well, I don't know.
1 issue should keep the time relatively reasonable.
Yeah,
I think
so. That's all
right.
That's our goal. Always open to input, folks. If you want to let us know. If it's mean and nasty, Jean, your email address is.
If it's mean and nasty, hit me on Twitter so I can block you. That's all.
There you go.
There we go.
And on that uplifting note.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
See you next week.